Welcome to the Staples Center in downtown Los Angeles and the 2009 NBA playoffs, where only 4 teams remain standing. The Western Conference Finals features some of the NBA's brightest stars, like Pau Gasol and the Lakers, whose path here was a bit bumpy, but played brilliantly when it mattered most. The Denver Nuggets have been flying through the first 2 rounds of the playoffs, consistently impressive in reaching their first conference final in nearly 2.5 decades. Can they take the next step? Let's find out.
One of the most remarkable comebacks.
Fires a off-balance 3. Fires! It's good!
Can you believe it?
Oh, my God.
For the steal.
Magic's got it. Lakers win it, ladies and gentlemen.
There's a 3 for the game. Stockton hits the 3.
Oh, my goodness gracious.
It's over. They won the West. Unbelievable.
Beautiful day in Los Angeles as the NBA playoffs continue. They are down to 4. Cleveland and Orlando will play the Eastern Conference Finals starting in a couple of nights. But tonight here at a sold-out Staples Center, it's the Denver Nuggets visiting the Los Angeles Lakers. And let's get tonight's starting lineups with legendary public address announcer Lawrence Tanner.
And now let's meet the starting lineup first for the visitors, the Denver Nuggets. At 1 forward, number 15, 6'8", is 6th year out of Syracuse, Carmelo Anthony. The other forward is 6'9", wearing number 4, 9th campaign from Cincinnati, Kenyon Martin. Starting at center, number 31, 6'11", 7th season out of Brazil, Nene. At 1 guard, number 30, 6'6", his 6th year from Duke, Dante Jones. And the other guard, number 7, 6'3", 12th campaign from Colorado, Chauncey Billups. The head coach is George Karl. The assistant coaches are Hall of Famer Adrian Dantley, John Welsh, Tim Gergerich, and the athletic trainer, Jim Gillen. Your feet. Time to greet the home team. Celebrating their 49th year in Southern California. 61st year in the NBA. The franchise with 14 NBA titles. And the most wins in NBA history. Your Los Angeles Lakers. And 1 forward, number 3, 6'8", 5th season out of UCLA, Trevor Ariza. The other forward is number 16, 7 feet, 8th year from Spain, Pau Gasol. Starting at center, number 17, 7 feet, 4th campaign from St. Joseph's High School, Andrew Bynum. At 1 guard, number 2, 6'1", 13th year from Arkansas Little Rock, Derek Fisher. And the other guard, wearing number 24, 6'6", 13th season out of Laura Marion High School, Kobe Bryant. The head coach in his 18th year, Hall of Famer Phil Jackson.
We're ready to play as we welcome you to Game 1 of the Western Conference Finals. It's the Lakers and the Denver Nuggets. Good evening, everyone. Along with Mark Jackson and Jeff Van Gundy, Mike Breen on hand. Doris Burke will join us shortly. Only fitting, the two best teams in the West all year, #1 seed and the #2 seed. For the Lakers, they've been the best in the West all season long. They won it by 11 games. And anything shy of a championship would be a disappointing season. Now, their second round didn't go as planned. Houston Rockets took them to 7 games. Much tougher opponent now, Mark. This is going to be a difficult test. What's the key for the Lakers?
Well, everybody understands that the key is Kobe Bryant. Both coaches acknowledge that. But talking to both coaches, Phil Jackson and George Karl, earlier today, they pointed the finger directly at Pau Gasol being the most important player in this series. You talk about watching him a couple of days ago in Game 7, 21 big points, 18 big rebounds. His presence on both ends of the floor will be crucial in this series.
Meanwhile, for the Denver Nuggets, maybe the best season in franchise history. They tied the record with 54 wins, and they're back in the conference final, Jeff, for the first time in 24 years. But this is a different talent level in terms of facing the Lakers. What's the key for Denver?
Well, the given is Carmelo Anthony and Chauncey Billups have to keep producing at the efficiency they have played with so far in the playoffs. Both have shot a high percentage from the field, from the three-point line, and their averages are good. But the real keys are, can Denver rebound with the Lakers? They have been absolutely dominated in the season series, and J.R. Smith has to spark an underrated Denver bench.
Denver bench that will certainly be tested as the starters get ready to come out. And again, in the first round, Denver beat New Orleans in 5 games. So impressive. And equally as impressive in the second round, where they beat the Dallas Mavericks also in 5. As for the Lakers, they open up their postseason by defeating the Utah Jazz in 5 games. And then a very difficult 7-game series that only ended on Sunday in that Game 7 dominant victory against the Houston Rockets. Lakers, a different team here at home than they've been on the road in the playoffs. They're 6-1. Their only loss at home in the playoffs was Game 1 to the Houston Rockets. Offensively, they have been terrific. As the Nuggets in kind of uncharted territory for many of them, certainly for the team. As we mentioned, it's been 24 years since they made it into a conference final. And the officiating crew for tonight's game, the crew chief, Scott Foster, with Tony Brothers and Joe DeRosa, as we get set for Game 1, best of 7. And in the conference finals, it's a 2-2-1-1-1 format. Of course, the NBA Finals is 2-3-2. All right, you've got a Nuggets team. It's been almost a week since they played. Last Wednesday, they clinched the series against Dallas. You've got a Laker team with a quick turnaround. Jeff, does that factor in at all? Is that an advantage for either team?
Well, I don't think so. I think, to me, NBA players want to keep playing. Denver obviously had more time to prepare. The Lakers are in better rhythm because they were pushed in a 7-game series.
Denver perhaps wanted to keep playing because they've been playing so well, 8-2 so far, and the 2 losses by a total of 4 points. They have just been so consistent. Billups, the first shot of the night, and Chauncey Billups, the hometown hero who returned earlier this season, has been magnificent, Mark, in the playoffs.
We talk about George Karl finding a great assistant coach. A guy in uniform, Chauncey Billups, doing an outstanding job of leading this Denver team.
Trevor Ariza, in and out, that one goal. Billups tries to save it. Dante Jones able to get it. And here's Jones, who's got the task at the other end, at least to start the game, of defending Kobe Bryant. Bryant is on Chauncey Billups to start. An interesting matchup. As Phil Jackson has said, he's most worried about Billups. Jones to the basket. Gets his own rebound. Blocked by Gasol, but a foul.
And it's surprising to me, and Coach, I'm sure you would agree, we're used to seeing Kobe Bryant guard the weakest offensive guy, where he's used pretty much as a roamer defensively.
No question. To conserve his energy on offense and to take advantage of his great weak side defense and his ability to disrupt offenses. But you saw it both ends. Gang rebounding by Denver on the defensive end and the ability to get a second shot at the offensive end. That's totally different from how the season series has played out when LA has dominated the rebounding battle.
There's Jones in his 6th year in the league. A very good defensive player. Jones, his first year in Denver, knocks down 1 of 2. And the Nuggets with the first few points of the night. Carmelo Anthony is on Ariza, but he'll guard Kobe Bryant at some point. Bad pass from Ariza, stolen by Jones. They force turnovers and get steals as Anthony lays it in. And a quick 5-0 start.
Starts on the defensive end. You allow this Denver team to get it going in transition. You have your hands full. Good job of getting stops and pushing the ball.
Denver, a very well-balanced team, both offensively and at the other end of the floor. They've become a good defensive team. Nice up and under. Kenyon Martin throws it back. Shot clock did not reset, so it's down to 3. Ariza, tough shot, puts it in. The Nuggets are a different team. They get after you defensively. They can block shots. They can force turnovers. And that's been evident already. Kenyon Martin giving a wide open shot. And it's going to go down the other way.
Dante Jones did an outstanding job against Chris Paul. Now he's being asked to defend Kobe Bryant. Good job of getting in the passing lane and waiting the proper time to deliver the ball on the break.
Lakers, even though they won that previous series against Houston, it was not the happiest locker room afterwards as Derek Fisher launches that shot way off. He's been struggling with a shot. Bynum the offensive rebound. Again, the shot clock did not reset. So Ariza can't get it to go. Martin the rebound. Nuggets will look to run. They're the highest scoring team in the playoffs this year. Jones, offensive foul. Fisher, who's been amongst the league leaders the last couple of years in drawing charges, does so there.
In this situation, if you're Dante Jones, understand who that is. Derek Fisher, outstanding job of stepping in and taking charge. You got to stop and pop and lay that one in off the glass.
Bryant looking to post up on a foul on Jones. Jeff, to the point I was making, after the game Sunday against Houston, Kobe Bryant got on his teammates and didn't let them feel good about winning a Game 7. They all felt throughout that they didn't play hard every single game of that series, although you give so much credit to Houston. So he got on them pretty good in the locker room.
Well, sometimes players are more receptive after wins than they are after losses. So if you're going to make that point, good timing by Kobe Bryant.
Bryant misses. By the way, Dante Jones picks up his second foul, and he stays in the game. George Karl letting him stay out there.
Well, Dante Jones basically plays the first 7 minutes of both halves. And so they want to keep his minutes matched up with Bryant. Particularly foul trouble has no bearing as Martin gets a steal.
2 quick steals already for Denver. Nuggets during the playoffs averaging over 111 points per game, shooting 50%, both best amongst all the 16 NBA playoff teams that began. Fisher and Billups would be an interesting matchup. Fisher has struggled big time shooting the ball in this postseason. Bynum turns, and Martin the rebound. Nuggets really looking to push. Anthony on the drive. Carmelo Anthony, who averaged 30 a game in the second-round series against Dallas, off to a good start.
You know, people talked about during the regular season, Carmelo Anthony just averaging 14 points against this Laker team. Oh, you know going in, that's not going to happen in the postseason. He's a big-time scorer.
Big-time scorer there, gets it in on the second effort. And the Lakers within 6.
Something I recognize right away, Coach. The Lakers defense, they are going to force Denver's bigs and Kenyon Martin and Nene to beat them. They are not defending those guys.
Martin against Bynum, flips it up and in. Kenyon Martin, not a big scorer, but give him an opportunity, he'll be aggressive.
Well, like Mark said, they're playing back off in a sagging position. That time, Martin took up that open space and got to 8 feet and knocked it in.
Bynum gets deep and knocks it down. Bynum played well, especially defensively in the Game 7 victory against the Rockets.
That's a second straight duck in that Bynum got.
And nobody there to stop Nene, who has having a career year and has done a solid job in the postseason as well. All 5 starters have scored for Denver.
Coach talked about it, though, last 2 plays, Nene and then Kenyon Martin, a good job of putting the ball on the floor and attacking.
Fisher off the dribble, ball kicked by Nene. So they'll reset the shot clock.
Well, LA's forcing the pick and roll to the baseline. Nene with just an easy cut, no rotation, no help by the other 3 Lakers. That's inexcusable.
Nuggets have been the best shooting team in the postseason so far, over 50% from the field. Carmelo Anthony, 3 for 3 to start. His team 6 for 8. Anthony and the Nuggets have been superb, and they start off beautifully here in Game 1. Almost 5 minutes gone by. First quarter of Game 1 from the Staples Center. Nuggets already with an 8-point lead. Here was George Karl before his team came out on the floor.
Come out tonight, be ready to go from the very first possession of the game. Understanding it's 48 minutes of every possession basketball. You prove it by playing harder than them. You prove it by playing more together than them. And you prove it by playing smarter in every game, get better as we go down this series.
First 5 minutes, pretty good for Denver as we check in for the first time with Doris Burke. Hey, Doris.
Hey, Mike. Well, if there's been one theme throughout the course of this year for the Denver Nuggets across the board, it's been one of redemption, and that means George Karl absorbing criticism for not getting the Denver Nuggets out of that first round. Nene, his battle from testicular cancer. For Carmelo Anthony, a similar theme, a lack of leadership and his inability to get his team out of the first round. And across the franchise, the rejection of the notion that there's no D in Denver. George Karl says, listen, this series is like a final exam for us. Yes, we're a changed team. What have we learned? We'll find out over the next 2 weeks, guys.
Yep, Doris, they've always been a talented team. Made the playoffs the last 5 years, previous 5. But they lost in the first round all 5. In fact, only won 4 games in that stretch as Martin dumps it in. And it's been a team that has gotten into the playoffs and made that quick exit. But Chauncey Billups has made a huge difference, and a number of the other things that Doris mentioned. And they've got a 10-point lead already. Nene with the bump.
Well, there's really no question about this Denver Nugget team. This is the most improved team. You talk about making a jump, taking a commitment defensively, and George Karl has done an outstanding job.
Best scoring team, best shooting team, including from 3. Of course, that scoring margin was padded a bit by the fact they won by 58 in the New Orleans series. One of the biggest blowouts in NBA history. Little flop there from Dante Jones, and Kobe Bryant able to put it in. Bryant did not score a lot in Game 7. He only had 14 points. But it was an excellent team effort in eliminating the Rockets. Carmelo Anthony, one of the best scorers in all of basketball. He hasn't scored as much, in fact, lowest scoring output in the last 5 years, but he's been a better teammate.
Well, what you want from guys to buy in, understand what it's going to take in order for the team to accomplish their goal, and certainly Carmelo has.
Fisher misses. Anthony only averaged 14 a game against the Lakers in the regular season. He's got 9 points already. They try inside to Martin. Martin can't get it to go. And Kobe Bryant comes down with it. Bryant on the pull-up, puts it in.
That was a very poor choice by Dante Jones, going for the steal against Bryant in transition. It turned into a wide-open 15-footer.
And those are the type of plays that George Karl pointed out. How Houston was so effective. They didn't allow Bryant to score in transition.
Anthony misses. George Karl says a big key this year has just been moving the ball. A very unselfish team. Billups made all the difference when he was obtained 3 games into the regular season. And they have a whistle and a 3-second violation. Offensive 3 seconds call against LA. That's their 3rd turnover.
Well, and this is the decision we're talking about. Good hustle by Billups back in transition. Dante Jones, unwarranted decision to try to steal the ball, led directly to the pull-up jumper.
All right, Jeff, the Lakers now back on defense. We saw them in Game 7. They played a terrific defensive game. Kobe Bryant said it showed how good they could be defensively as Billups gets inside. Missed an easy one. And we asked him, do you think now that they're going to play that type of defense every night? And he said it remains to be seen. It has not been a constant for this team as Fisher was fired.
Well, let's look at it, though. Houston was down their top 2 offensive players in McGrady and Yao Ming. So they were easily more defended, as we see Nene with another layup off a cut. So this Denver team has many more weapons and a more balanced offensive team.
Here's Bynum, up and under, and gets the finish. Bynum trying to get back in the groove after that knee surgery.
And the thing, looking at Bynum, he looks much more confident with the basketball in his hands. He was struggling about a week and a half ago. Right now, he's catching it and making big-time moves.
Henry Martin misses. Nene with a long rebound. Phillips for three. He got hit. Ball stolen by Anthony, but deflected again. Chauncey Billups almost able to get a hold, knocks it out. He comes crashing into our table. It's going to be Laker ball.
You know what I like, Mike? You did not flinch. Chauncey Billups was coming right at you, and you were going to step in there and take a hit for the team. That's big time.
I'm not the brightest guy.
Chauncey Billups not the biggest guy either. I would like to see that was Nene.
Well, see, you have to qualify it now.
As Mark Jackson says all the time, I'm just a truth teller.
Shot clock down to 7. Here's the reason. On the drive. Flips it up. Won't go. Chris Anderson just checked in. Lost the rebound to Bynum. And they say last touch by Bynum. More substitutions this time for the Lakers. Lamar Odom and Luke Walton come in. And George Karl will call a timeout. A terrific start for Denver, shooting 56% from the field. They're up by 8. Stewart, thank you. Denver leading by 8. And we've got two of the most explosive scorers in this series. The two won gold together in the Beijing Olympics. And Kobe Bryant is a big fan of his former USA teammate.
I love him. You know, he's the closest one. The one that I'm closest to from the team. You know, I look at him as a brother. And, you know, I thought the world of him prior to my experience with him, then playing with him, even more so. You know, he just works extremely hard, competes. And, you know, I'm happy for him. I'm happy for him to be in this position. You know, last summer, he was the butt of a lot of jokes on the team. And, but it's good to see him here.
Brian said a lot of the jokes they teased him about his lack of playoff experience. He's been in the playoffs every year, his first 5 years. He's been out in the first round every year until this season.
Well, I didn't know there was a problem with bullying in the Olympic team. What is wrong with Chauncey Billups keeping running into our death?
He's having a tough time avoiding the broadcast table. And our man Pat Rondeau, our cameraman, who's taken certainly a lot more hits than I have. Did you do anything when you played against him years ago?
More importantly, did you do anything when you coached against him?
We doubled him.
And again, Bryant is guarding him. Billups and Anthony have been the two top scorers as Anthony put that in. It's back up to 10. Carmelo Anthony, 5 for 6 to start. He's got 11 points already, and there's still just under 3 remaining. Gasol lost it.
Carmelo Anthony is an outstanding scorer. He's a guy, when he's knocking down that jump shot, just like a point guard, can make plays. All of a sudden, puts the ball on the floor, not just settling with being a jump shooter. I like what the Nuggets are doing. Putting the ball in his hands, trusting that he's going to make the right decision.
Phillips to Martin, inside. And a Laker defense struggling in the early going.
That could be the biggest understatement in Western Conference Finals history. They have given up 3 uncontested dunks on rolls to the rim.
Bryant doubled. J.R. Smith is in the game. He's guarding Kobe Bryant. Kobe Bryant, 8 of the 14 points for the Lakers. But once again, it's this end of the floor that has caused the problem.
And very interesting, Jordan Farmar, not the first guard into the game. Vujacic is off the bench first for defensive purposes.
Carmelo Anthony hits a 3. Anthony, 14 points here in the first quarter. And it's 27 of 14.
But you just look at the ball movement by the Denver Nuggets. There was a time when it was, okay, you take a shot, I take a shot. Right now, trusting each other.
Bryant off the mark. Gasol lays it in. And a foul. A much-needed bucket for L.A.
And again, just poor pick-and-roll coverage. Gasol commits up. Lamar Odom late on the rotation. Another dunk.
Gasol a chance for a three-point play. Both coaches talked about Gasol as being the key in this series. Phil Jackson said his aggressiveness and his energy will be the key to us winning a championship. And George Karl, as you talked about Mark before, said the same thing. But Gasol is the guy they really worry about going off as Kobe Bryant's called for the foul. He made all the difference in Game 7. He was brilliant on Sunday.
And George Karl pointed out, he's a guy that can hurt you in so many different ways. Offensive rebound, post, can knock down the jump shot. So they are going to have to pay attention to detail when it comes to stopping or containing Pau Gasol.
And to me, this is a very interesting decision by Phil Jackson. Jordan Farmar started to play better in the last series, but because of the matchup that Billups brings with his strength in the pick and roll, he's gone to Brown off the bench, Vujacic off the bench, and Farmar may not be in the same rotation, same minutes in this series.
Carmelo Anthony again lighting it up. 7 of 8 from the field here in the first quarter.
And here's where you're a young player like Jordan Farmar. You say, you mean to tell me I can't match up with Chauncey Billups? He's not our problem right now. Somebody needs to try to contain Carmelo Anthony or play pick and roll defense. I think if you're a young fellow, you can get lost and frustrated being yanked out of a rotation.
Odom, nice pass to Gasol, shot blocked. Lakers wanted a foul. Billups for 3. Vujacic, nice job tipping it to Lamar Odom. Luke Walton, Vujacic for 3. It's good. He has been off the mark most of this postseason. He's really struggled from the field, 28% shooting. But it's a big shot there in the first quarter. And Martin comes right back. Nuggets have tacked on 31 here in the first quarter.
I like what Kenyon Martin is doing. Those are not his shots, but if they're going to force you to make them, you have to be aggressive and believe that you're going to knock them down.
And it's all started by getting into the paint off the dribble.
He's got 8 points already. That's a 3. Back-to-back threes for the Lakers. Shannon Brown, acquired from Charlotte back in February, has become an important part of Phil Jackson's rotation. Final seconds of the first. Billups tripped up as he falls to the floor, and he'll shoot free throws. Chauncey Billups, the guy with all the playoff experience. As we mentioned, Denver has not been to the conference final in 24 years, but this is Billups' 7th straight.
And he just wins. That's all Chauncey Billups does. Finds a way to get his team where he wants them to be when it matters most.
A rare miss from the free throw line. He's been shooting 96%, getting to the line a lot. He was 66 for 69 prior to that miss.
I'll bet both you guys he makes this one.
We're really going out there. All right, you're on. Look at the shooting numbers. And he started it right with game on. Pay up. I'll take the 100. Walton off the mark. And that ends the first quarter. Carmelo Anthony and the Nuggets really come flying out of the gate. Regular season, he had some rough times as they lost 3 of 4. But what a first quarter. As Anthony, playing in his first conference final, has hit 7 of 8 from the field. Also have a couple of assists. Earlier this week, making All-NBA third team. His Nuggets are up by 8.
With George Karl. Coach, you had a long layover. You're in uncharted territory here in the Western Conference for a lot of your guys. What did you like most about the way they reacted?
I think the first thing I'd say, Melo's really into the game, and offensively it's making it easy for us. You know, we're trying to play a good, smart, fast tempo, but not too fast.
The first guy you mentioned to us this morning was Pau Gasol. He's got 3 points, just 1 board. What are you doing effectively?
Well, the only offensive rebound he got was the only thing I was upset with. I thought we did a great job of fronting him some, yo-yoing him some, and also playing him straight up.
Coach, thank you.
Thank you.
Mike.
All right, Doris, Karl's got to be thrilled with his team start as Gasol will sit on the bench when we begin the second. Jordan Farmar making his first appearance with Vujacic, Lamar Odom, Luke Walton, and Andrew Bynum.
And a lot of the playoffs is a matchup game. So Brown knocks in a 3. He's in there to play Billups. Billups comes out for his rest. Anthony Carter's in the game as Bynum gets fouled off the second shot, and now Jordan Farmar is in to match up against Anthony Carter.
Bynum got hit in the head, got hit in the arm, and he'll go to the free throw line. Bynum already 4 points, 4 rebounds as J.R. Smith picks up his first. All the difference in the world when he plays well. In Game 7 on Sunday, Bynum had 14.6 rebounds. Still only playing 20 minutes, sometimes a little less, sometimes a little more. But he can make such a difference defensively with his size.
When he's active and when he's alert, pick and roll defensive-wise, then he can make a difference. But you saw early in the game, people are rolling to the rim. He's late in his rotation. Then his size has no impact on the game.
That time it did, but a whistle on a foul. He blocked the shot and also got a piece of the arm. Phillips getting a breather. J.R. Smith will go to the line. And there you see Bynum. He had 3 scoreless games in the Houston series, but had a couple of good ones, Games 5 and Game 7. Still trying to work his way back to Smith. Misses the free throw. And J.R. Smith having his best year. Smith coming off the bench. Now his 5th year straight from high school in New Jersey to the NBA. He's had his problems over the years with George Karl. They haven't always seen eye to eye. But he's been an explosive scorer as the Nuggets continue to miss free throws. They're 1 for 6 from the line. Walton looking. Denver just very active defensively. Walton left wide open. Can't get it to go. And Kenyon Martin, another rebound, his 4th. Smith. And an offensive foul. And a moving screen. Anderson picks up his first. The one they call the Birdman. And you see a packed house here at the Staples Center. They were a little anxious on Sunday. Although the game, within the first couple of minutes, you knew that the Lakers were in command. And now the quick turnaround against the Denver Nuggets. And despite Denver playing so well early, they only lead by 6. Walton flips it up and in.
That's a good job by Luke Walton. Going away from the screen and roll. They jump on the opposite side. Be aggressive. Trust your game.
It's Anthony Carter, the backup point guard, part of that bench, Jeff, that you like so much with Denver. Smith on the pull-up. I think Vujicic's got a piece of it. Here comes Odom. Odom with the ability to lead the break. Drives down inside to Bynum. Bynum block. Anderson got a piece of it. He was second in the NBA in block shots behind Dwight Howard. In only 20 minutes a game in the regular season. Carter stripped, knocked out of bounds. The Birdman has got great anticipation.
Oh, this is one thing that he's able to do, change shots. He's not going to give up on plays. Does a good job of actively pursuing the basketball. Blocks the layup attempt of Bynum.
They lob it into Nene. Back shot blocked. Anderson throws it up. And he'll go to the free throw line.
To me, Denver has a well-balanced bench because you have 2 energy effort players in Anthony Carter and Chris Anderson, who basically, their persistence has gotten them back into the league. And then you have a bona fide scorer in J.R. Smith that can run hot and cold. But to me, he's the type of wild card you need to play well to be able to advance in the playoffs.
Anderson, a couple of years ago, was banned, got a 2-year suspension for violating the league's substance abuse program. Soon it was his time to file for reinstatement. He did that. And this year, he said he knew he would play well. As I just know it because I play every possession like it's my last. George Karl will say he knew the guy had some energy, but had no idea he could be this dominant defensively. There's Farmar. Vujicic wide open. Good ball movement that time. Farmar can't get it to go. Odom had it, lost it. Last touch by Smith. Laker ball with a new 24.
That's good offense by the Lakers. Good job, Andrew Bynum, throwing it out of the post and the extra pass from Vujicic. You play like that, you're going to score on the offensive end.
Vujicic, quick catch and shoot. Odom to Walton. Luke Walton can't get it to go. Bynum. And a whistle, and it's going to be a loose ball foul called on Bynum. That's 2 on Andrew Bynum.
But this was the problem for Denver in the season series against the Lakers. Right now, they are playing volleyball on the board against this smaller Denver team. They've got to get bodies on bodies and prevent the second shot.
Smith, nearly stolen by Farmar. A pass to Jack Nicholson.
I like what the Lakers did in that situation. Jordan Farmer is playing center field, not playing Anthony Carter, forcing the ball out of the hands of J.R. Smith. Good job of helping, sticking with him until he gives up the ball, forces him into an error.
Lakers picking up what Phil Jackson calls their defensive activity. Farmar pulls up for a two-pointer. He's a confident, bordering on cocky player who plays hard. You know he wants to prove he belongs to be out there, Jeff, as Nene puts it in.
Well, exactly. And it's difficult to get rhythm and minutes for three-point guards in the same rotation.
Carter, good hands. 3-on-1 break. Nene, little fake inside, and Smith can't get it to go. Odom, a rebound in traffic. Odom, one of the most underrated rebounders in the NBA. Walton for three. Timeout Denver. Lakers down by as many as 13. Have cut it to 3.
You want guys coming in off the bench, changing the ball game. Extra pass, Luke Walton all by himself. Got it. And then you talk about Jordan Farmer. His presence off the bench for the Lakers. Lakers bench, 13 points. Step in rhythm. Don't fall in love with the three. Make the proper plays. Lakers bench on a roll.
The Nuggets return home after the first 2 games here at Staples Center, where the celebrities are out. Justin Timberlake trying to be in a little disguise, sitting courtside. Fordham grad Denzel Washington and former Laker Norm Nixon chatting away in the usual spot for Jack.
And if I'm Jack Nicholson, I don't want a box under my face. People should either know me or they shouldn't watch.
Or at least just put Jack. Nene in there for the slam, and another one for the Denver Nuggets.
But understanding your strength, not standing out there to catch it in rhythm for a jump shot. He is in attack mode, slashing to the cup.
He started slowly against New Orleans, had a couple of great games in the Dallas series. He's got 8 points already. Lamar Odom tries a 3. Odom for downtown. He's shooting over 50% from three-point range in the playoffs. He's now 10 for 19. Chance of defense. Lakers certainly have picked it up after the bad start. Anderson, an open jumper. They'll give him that all day. Kobe Bryant back in the game. Anthony Carter on him. Carter's a good defender, but Bryant has the height advantage. Fight for the rebound. Picked up by Phillips. Linus Glazer has come in for Denver for the first time. Both coaches going to their benches early. Phillips to Carter. Carter a three-pointer. And Kobe Bryant the rebound.
Now, we've seen Kobe Bryant get better looks in this first half than he had in an entire series against the Houston Rockets.
Farmar knocked down. Open for Walton. Farmar, nice little fake. Steps back for 3. Nene and Carter collide. Anderson, by the way, kind of grimacing. He comes up the floor. Phillips runs, draws the foul, shot blocked. But they say he got hit, and Chauncey Billups will go to the free throw line. Bryant picks up his second.
Chauncey Billups so good at using that upper body strength. Doesn't look like much contact there.
He sold it pretty good. Blocked thereafter. George Karl called him a gift from the basketball gods. You know, last year, Kevin Garnett was the perfect fit. As he misses another free throw, was the perfect fit for Boston. Exactly what they needed. Chauncey Billups has been like that for Denver. Just the perfect guy in terms of his leadership, his poise, and his defensive mindset.
I think more so than, you know, a couple of things. His leadership, you touched on that. The guy's a winner. But I think this was a team that needed somebody to give him direction on the offensive end of the floor. It's a high explosive team that really didn't think there was any bad shots in basketball. But Chauncey Billups, being a true point guard, does a good job of putting the ball in the right player's hands and also staying away from guys at times. Anderson's shaken up, so they'll attend to him.
obviously huge in terms of his energy and shot blocking off the bench. Carter battling with Bryant, who wants to post him up. Good defense from Carter. Odom has Billups on him. Billups pokes it away. And it's still Laker ball with 5 on the shot clock.
Mike, can you see the flexibility of the triangle offense early in this game? Kobe Bryant has been in the low post more in this first half than he was all in the Houston series when Houston matched up bigger defenders on him. So now he's going into the post against the smaller defender.
Gasol out to Farmar. He's got to put it up. Shot clock at 1. Fires it up. Won't go. Part of the rebound. Lakers wanted a foul there. Kenyon Martin, too much dribbling. Gives it right back, though. The Lakers do. Billups spinning. Little helter-skelter. Billups layup won't go. And a blocking foul on Odom. He was in the restricted area. And Billups, who's 1 for 4 from the line, goes back. 2 fouls on Odom.
They're going to the hack of Billups.
Could you take the Jeff Van Gundy jinx off of Chauncey Billups?
I'm not jinxing him. Listen, this type of rat race right now plays into Denver's hand. Denver, this is how they want to play. Fast, but not too fast. LA wants a much more controlled offensive tempo.
Billups missed 3 free throws in the first 2 rounds combined. He's missed 3 in the first half of game 1 here. One of the keys, they say, in his acquisition, Jeff, and you'll know this as well as anybody, is that George Karl doesn't have to be the voice all the time. All the players say that, Billups talks now as much in huddles and in his locker room, and that's important for a coach, isn't it?
Well, he also co-signs when George Karl talks about winning basketball things that guys may not want to do. Chauncey Billups has won so much, he knows they may not be fun to do, but they're necessary to do to win.
And, of course, you said 7 straight, the first 6 with the Detroit Pistons, including 1 championship. He did not want to be traded. He told us that this morning. But if there was any place to go, it was his hometown in Denver. Pass inside, Nene lost it. Traded for Allen Iverson 3 games into the regular season. Bryant is fouled. A reach in on Carter. Carter upset. Players getting a little emotional, and you like the officials are letting them display a little quick emotion as George Karl calls timeout. George Karl has not been to the conference finals since 2001. That's when he took the Milwaukee Bucks. He also took the Sonics there. Now he's here with the Denver Nuggets. Lakers, after trailing by 13, within 5. Just past the midway point of the second. Kobe Bryant, the subject of our Gatorade Cooler Talk, Jeff.
Well, when you come to work, Kobe Bryant doesn't just come to play. He comes to work before the game, working on his post game because he knows who he's going to be defended by. So here he's going to work. He misses in the post, but quick follow-up. A repost. He throws it out, gets it back into the turnaround jumper. And then no double team. Back in, uses great strength to overpower Dante Jones. He's going to continue to be in the post until they put size on him. If they put size on him, he'll move back to the perimeter. Denver wants to resist the temptation to double team him because then the three-point shot comes into play.
With all due respect to the Denver defenders, how happy do you think Kobe Bryant is that he doesn't have to deal with Shane Battier and Ron Artest?
Well, I'm going to say he's happy he doesn't have to deal with Shane Battier. Shane Battier did a great job of defending Bryant. This is going to be a much easier series for him to get to his spots and get high percentage shots.
He's only 4 for 10, but he's had all quality looks.
Back within 3. Billups and Carter out there at the same time. Carter, a veteran, back up. Billups gets inside. Odom got a piece of it. Gasol the rebound. Fisher the other way. Fisher to the basket, blocked by Nene. And Martin with the rebound. Whistle, the ball was out of bounds. So it's still Laker ball. They block a lot of shots. That's already 4.
I like the mentality of Derek Fisher on this play. Not just jacking up a jump in transition. Put pressure on this Nuggets defense.
Second best shot blocking team in the NBA during the regular season, led by Anderson. Plays it. Bellies up on Bryant. Ariza on the drive. and draws the foul. We've seen some spectacular dunks from Trevor Ariza. That time he didn't finish, but he'll go to the free throw line.
You don't want to be just a jump shooting team. Good job of swinging the ball, the extra pass, defense running at you, put your head down and make a play. Trevor Ariza trying to get his own poster.
And a lot of this is caused by both teams have the same strategy. Against isolations, they bring another defender from the weak side to the strong side to prevent the isolation move. But what that causes is a longer closeout to the weak side. That's how Trevor Ariza was able to blow by a very good defender in Anthony Carter.
Coach, I'm sure you would agree, in those situations, the best offense is swinging the basketball to the other side.
Anthony got hot early, kind of forced that one. They talk a lot this year. The shot selection of Denver is so improved. Not a particularly good decision that time. Anthony is now guarding Bryant. He told George Karl he wanted to guard him. Knocks it out, and he thought it hit off Bryant's leg. Bryant thought that it was a foul. Nobody agrees with the call. It's not an easy job.
You know, I am so tired of hearing that about officiating. Of course it's not easy job. That's why they're paying $300,000 to do it. You think it's easy to coach these players or to guard Kobe Bryant in the post if you're Anthony Carter? None of the jobs out there with the people are easy.
And the loose ball foul is called against Odom. That's his third.
I think it's time for me to give you an amen, brother.
You know what I'm saying? Why is it only one person's job out there is tough to do? They're all tough.
George Karl gets up. He talks to Martin. Coaching, it's not an easy job.
That's better. You know what is an easy job? Sitting here commenting. Like my job. I don't even know if you can call this a job. It's a hobby, I guess. But that's hard stuff out there. Those 13 people involved and the people on the bench. That's all tough work.
So Nene goes to the line. Just over 4.5 remaining in the second. Shop NBAStore.com for the best selection of Lakers and Nuggets team gear. Plus, get free shipping on orders over $75. NBAStore.com, one store, every team. As Doris touched upon earlier, Nene, January of 08, was diagnosed with testicular cancer, had surgery, chemotherapy, returned in March. His doctor said he couldn't believe how quickly he got back on the basketball court, said his attitude was all part of it. And then this year he responded with his best season of his NBA career as Kobe Bryant throws it down. Lakers within one.
And there's certain times that Bryant has that look in his eyes where he's basically speaking, "Give me the ball."
Nene and a foul. Nene finding the seams and getting great scoring opportunities. He's got 11 points.
But Coach talked about it. This is weak side defense. You have to be in position if you're Andrew Bynum to rotate quicker. Don't allow Nene to get to the cup. And how about Bryant? Good job of not falling in love with the J in attack mode. The blow by of Anthony Carter getting to the cup. And this is where Kobe Bryant does his most damage.
Meanwhile, that foul at the other end was Bynum's third. He will sit down. And they back to the line. In the playoffs, he's averaging 12.5 points per game. He's already got 11. Brazil well represented in the conference finals. Andy Varejao, of course, playing for the Cleveland Cavs. And Nene for the Nuggets. Lead back up to 4.
Has Varejao started to flop yet?
I'm sure he practiced it today a little bit.
But an interesting substitution. Josh Powell on the third foul instead of Lamar Odom.
Odom picking up that third foul. Here's Powell getting some unusual early minutes, and how about that response? Josh Powell in his first year with the Lakers signed as a free agent. He's played for 5 NBA teams in his 4 years, played Russia and Italy, and his first chance at a conference final. J.R. Smith looking. Kenyon Martin. He got whacked. And he'll go to the free throw line. They've already taken 15 free throws to just 7 by the Lakers.
In the last regular season between the two teams, that last regular season game, the Lakers shot 46 free throws. So keeping the Lakers off the line and off the board are critical for the Nuggets' chances here tonight.
Well, I'd like to take this time out. Basketball lost a great guy in Wayman Tisdale a couple of days ago, and certainly want to send our thoughts and prayers to the Tisdale family. Just an outstanding human being and a joy to be around.
And he showed great courage after finding out he had cancer, made that in some ways his most shining moment, the way he dealt with it. Wayman Tisdale leaves an awful lot of friends. So let's check in on the coaches' huddles.
You guys ready? This team overplays passing lane. They get after the basketball, right? So you can't be loose with the ball out there.
Anytime you've probed their defense, you found the window. You found the window. We don't need to take quick jump shots. We can find great jump shots all night long.
Well, George Karl's in his 21st year in the NBA. Phil Jackson, the 18th. And they're obviously now doing well, making money and coaching the best in the game. But neither started there. Both paid their dues. Both Karl and Jackson each coached 5 years in the CBA before they started coaching in the NBA. Karl also spent 2 years coaching in Spain.
And George Karl, to me, is where Phil Jackson obviously will be in the Hall of Fame. George Karl is a Hall of Fame coach.
Kobe Bryant, that won't go. For the rebound, and they are fighting down low. Kenyon Martin. Here's J.R. Smith. Smith inside, and a finish from Nene. What a first half. 14 points on 6 of 7 from the field.
Nothing like big guys running the floor. Create offense.
When they traded Marcus Camby in the offseason, he became the starting center. He had his injury and health problems. But has really come through, and a technical foul call on Carmelo Anthony. Didn't like the personal call, so gets hit with a technical, and the Lakers will get 3 free throws. Anthony now going over to Scott Foster to try and plead his case. Bryant will first shoot the technical.
I tell you what, though, if I'm George Karl, I'm not upset about that technical by Carmelo Anthony. First of all, it shows you the change in Carmelo Anthony. There was a time he wouldn't have wanted to step up to the challenge to play the best player on the opposing team. There was also a time he wouldn't have been frustrated about a call. Give him credit. He has bought in to the Nuggets defensively.
My mistake, Nuggets weren't in the penalty, so Lakers taken out of bounds. Bryant open 3, knocks it down. And the Lakers within 1. This Laker crowd's been through some roller coasters in the previous series. Saw a slow start tonight, but a big bounce back. Stepped out of bounds.
You even look in that situation, Josh Powell, the designated double team guy, not paying attention to the big that he was chosen to defend on the Nuggets.
Big chant of "Let's go Lakers." Nice turnaround after a bad first quarter. Fisher with a hand in his face. Can't get it to go. Bryant, the rebound, back up, blocked by Martin. Nuggets wanted the goaltend, instead on the other end, or the Lakers wanted the goaltend. Anthony throws it down. Phil Jackson upset. That was pretty close. And then Nene with a steal. Bad pass. And the turnover. Kenyon Martin. Phillips had it, lost it, picked up by Ariza. Ariza scoots inside. Tip won't go. Gasol tips it in. And Josh Powell hurt down the other end. Here's Winston as he gets back on defense. Anthony gets a clear path. Ariza fell down. Anthony can't hit. Gasol the rebound. Inside pass and a foul on the entry pass. Powell will shoot free throws. Now the Nuggets in the penalty.
Well, Denver's working hard to try to front the post. What that leaves you vulnerable to is the second shot. Bryant had inside position, goes back up, and that led
to a transition basket. That block led to that Carmelo Anthony run out and dunk. But again, the fronting technique is good to keep the ball out of Bryant's hands, but Bryant then has the advantage on the missed shot.
Josh Powell off the bench, 3 points in 3 minutes.
You know, Coach, what you talked about the fronting, I think in that situation, you're Derek Fisher. That's a bad shot. Your job as the point guard, be a little bit more patient and trust that Kobe Bryant will create an open.
And the Lakers have come back from 13 down to take their first lead of the night with a minute remaining here in the second quarter. Anthony trying to force it in. And a foul on the pass. Lakers in the penalty, so Carmelo Anthony will shoot his first free throws of the night. Gasol picks up his second. So Bynum has 3, Odom has 3. And a host of players have 2.
I talked about it before the series. It's a much easier team for the Lakers to defend. They can roam, they can double team, they can pretty much zone the area without being concerned about the Nuggets bigs beating them shooting jumpers.
Anthony hits the first. He had a great first quarter. Carmelo Anthony before the series saying, I don't think anyone thinks we can beat the Lakers. And that might be trying a little self-motivation. A lot of people actually felt Denver has a chance to win this series. They're back up by 1. Final minute, first half. Fisher. Good open look. Get it to fall. Fisher and his shooting problems continue, on a bad foul that time from Josh Powell will put J.R. Smith at the free throw line.
But even coming off, Kobe Bryant is coming off a double screen, wide open, and Fisher forces a jump shot. If that shot goes in, good shot. But if it doesn't, the best player in yellow is wide open. That play has to be made, and trust that he will make the proper play.
Smith misses the first. And free throw shooting just awful for the Nuggets. 11 of 20. We've missed 9 already here in the first half.
Great job getting to the line, but these are the things that make the difference between winning and losing.
And if you're the Nuggets right now, understand, here's where the Lakers like to get a quick one up to secure the basketball back.
They were not a good free throw shooting team during the regular season. They're certainly not one of the better ones. 20th in the NBA. They lead by 2. Fisher. Bryant forces up the shot, puts it in, and a foul. Pau Gasol was mad. He felt he was open. Bryant didn't get him the ball and took a contested shot, but he may turn it into a 3-point play.
Again, working the clock down. Bryant backing in, turns, and they called Dante Jones for walking up under Bryant on the jump shot.
Bryant, 18 points. 22.8 remaining here in the first half, so the shot clock is off. Has Ariza on him. Ariza, a talented defender. Anthony, stutter move, gets inside, feeds Martin for the slam. Over Benga with 8.4 remaining. They didn't hold it for the final shot, but they come away with 2. Bryant, Fisher for 3. Bang! Fisher was 0 for 6 before that shot as he nails it at the buzzer.
And this is why you put the ball in Bryant's hands, because the offense gets easier. Derek Fisher, wide open, knocks down the jumper, no question about it, off in time.
Kobe Bryant with a beautiful pass. He had 18 points. He's with Doris.
Kobe, Denver got off to a very fast start. How did you guys find your traction?
Well, we just kind of had to get used to the rhythm and what they're doing offensively. And, it's an adjustment from series to series. And at the start of the game, they were hot as heck.
Story coming in was Carmelo's inability to score against you guys in the regular season. He was very effective in the first half. Anything different you want with him in the second half?
Oh, they execute extremely well. We got to do a much better job, fighting them off his sweet spots.
Thanks, Kobe. Mike?